taking it back to our discussion of D&D for the viewers. We kind of hit on how do you have confidence over the table, and I think the natural segue to that, it kind of in the same realm. I think the worst nightmare, at least for me as a DM, is to be telling a story and then realize somewhere before the players do that these train tracks are headed off a cliff. I've got nothing. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know how I'm going to land this bird. And in fact, I don't think I can land this bird. And I think all of us can acknowledge that pulling a Game of Thrones is a scary thing. Getting 7 seasons in and then being like,
I don't know how to finish this.
Just going to phone this in.
Exactly. Just going to call it in.
I've got to watch that.
A Game of Thrones, a Stranger Things.
No, don't even.
Oh, God.
And then, Stranger Things go off the cliff?
People didn't like the ending. I haven't watched it yet because, well, we're still watching through it. But
That's true.
It was a little rough. I mean, there are many great examples of stories that have a great beginning, great rising action, up to a climax, and then they just can't stick it. For whatever reason, they don't know how to execute. So, my question to y'all, in the stories, I mean, obviously D&D, you can keep it going pretty much however long you want. And a lot of times these are over the course of years.
Right.
Can never tie every loose end. But how do you avoid these sort of scenarios where you're finding yourself driving the story off a cliff?
So, for me, whenever I realize I'm running out of material, I do one of two things. I am okay at improving. Some have told me I'm pretty good, but
Yeah, you're far better than okay.
I'll give it to you as well.
I don't like to toot my own horn. So I will
Good,
sometimes.
it smells a little.
Oh, only a little.
Quite a bit, actually. Oh, gosh. I thought that was Luna down there.
Anyway, sometimes I will just improv through the next few minutes, especially if I'm like near the end of the session.
Sure.
Then I'll drag something out a little bit. I'll improv just something vaguely interesting to stop them from moving on to what feels like the next plot point. Something non-committal. Or if I'm in like mid to early game and I just hit something where, man, they went so far off track, I have no idea what any of us are going to do. I mean, it's what I said earlier. Just tell your players, hey, guys, I'm running out of story. Give me 15 minutes. You guys go to the bathroom, get some more pizza, whatever you need to do. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to figure out where this is going.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can get a lot done in 15 minutes when you're already in that mindset.
Yeah.
Or you just end the session early, too, if it's that late in the session.
If you get to a point where it's like an hour in, sorry, not an hour in, but like an hour left, you can't drag it out that long. It doesn't feel like...
Random encounter.
A random encounter is a good way.
Hour is a great time to
like,
just do a fight.
They're like in the king's main hall. You're like, a troll breaks in.
Troll breaks in.
Well, how about a swarm of bats?
Yeah.
So
Sturgis.
Sturges. I was trying to think, what are the monsters that sit at the top and fall down on you? And Sturges, of course.
Hooked horrors kind of do that too, right?
Oh, yeah,
Jump
yeah.
down from you. Yeah.
Ropers. Ooh, ropers. Those
But
are
yeah.
terrifying. But yeah, so, I mean, you just tell your players, hey, I need a little bit of time. Give me some. Or you draw things out. And sometimes what I'll do is, which I have done in the past, which is not a great idea, just improv the next plot point. Because everything after, even if you plan it, you're working off of that improv plot point.
Sure.
For like a year, when I first started DMing, I had no idea how I was going to do anything because I got dropped into being a DM. It was a job. I was getting paid. I had played D&D for like 3 months before that. Everything before that was a completely different system, and I'd never run.
I know, and they hired you and they said, go run that tape.
Yeah, because the owner had a falling out with his former DM.
And he had no idea how to play D&D.
And he had no idea how to play D&D. There was a lot of problems at that business, but story for not right now and maybe never.
Hey, it got you your start.
Yeah, it got me my start, and I met a lot of people there who would become my friends, and we would play D&D. We still play every Saturday, but the thing is that I don't remember.
Improv your point.
Improving my whole point because, I mean, I was given this other guy's game with no warning, and I was not even told that he had been fired at first. And I kept thinking, like, well, he's not here. Neither are most of his players. I can't really run the campaign he gave me. It's a pre-made, and I just don't understand it. And it was, I think it was Into the Abyss, which that is not a module for first-time DMs. And I was just dropped into the deep end, and I had no idea what I was doing. I let my players get away with a lot of stuff. Just was like, magic items, here, take a legendary, you're level 2.
Yeah.
And it just got really confusing for everyone. And people were having a good time, but
you know, that's a great point. You were put in like the worst possible position, you know.
As a starter DM.
Yeah, as a starting DM. No experience, not all that familiar with the rules. Doing this for pay, so the quality expectation is that much higher and whatnot. And you know, having to make customers happy, and you did. So, I mean, I think a lot of that is testament of your innate ability and your determinedness, which, you know, was totally installed in you by your father. But
I was waiting for it.
No,
where does he claim credit?
Wow, am I that transparent? But in all seriousness, I mean, it says a lot about you. And you know, with everything going that bad, people kept coming back. And frankly, I think you were growing the table from what your predecessor was doing.
I mean,
so that's a great message for all the viewers and whatnot, is that, you know, if you're having fun,
if you're having fun, you're not doing it wrong.
Yeah.
And I'll jump in here and say too, I think that something that you hit on that I really want to kind of double down on. It's hard to get a picture when you're sitting at the beginning of how flexible D&D is.
Yeah.
Like, you write out your story, you have these, especially things like canned modules. I feel like they convey this sense of completeness that just is completely false.
Yeah.
True, you may have a start and you may have an end, but the line gets real squiggly in the middle and it goes all over the place. And for something like Game of Thrones, right? I think that they began, obviously, without the end in mind, because they didn't have the end of those books. Right. So they just began, followed a great story, ran out and went, oh crap, and then they
Martin just wasn't writing the books fast enough for them to
100. Hey,
I mean, he took a break and was like working on a bunch of other projects and just never finished the Game of Thrones books, and the TV show went, well, let's make something up.
Exactly. And I think this kind of goes.
Sucked.
It did.
So
this kind of goes earlier to what I think you were saying, Rob. Really, the same way the canned module does, you don't have to know the end of the story. But if you know roughly how things should resolve or might resolve, given characters' motivations, and you know where you're starting, you can improv an awful lot in the middle. I mean, an awful lot. There was one time I was running a game, and I had a character that, in my mind, was around for maybe another year in terms of how long we were playing. Just get wiped by a series of really, really well-cast spells in combination that happened to have insanely high rolls. There's nothing I could do. I mean, I could come up with some crap, but I'm not going to do that. And that player was, or that NPC was gone. And in that moment, a part of you panics a little bit. You're like, oh crap, like there's so much other stuff that was supposed to be here. Like you were saying, Kyle, you just make it to the end of the session. Combat drags on a little longer. There's another wave of enemies, right? Session ends. By the time the smoke clears, it's never as bad as you think it's going to be. It's so, especially if you've homebrewed a lot of that world, I think it's truly very easy to sit back and go, well, let's just add this. Let's change this. Let's tweak that. So my advice to the DM would always be, don't fret so long as you aren't already finishing the story. You can always lengthen the runway, and in fact, most of the time, it'll be fun when you do. Like what happened in your game. Even if you don't have all that much experience, you're probably better off than you think.
Well, this all was about, running off the rails and whatnot. And the first thing when you asked that question, I thought, well, but it's not the DM's responsibility only for the story, right? Right. So, I did at the beginning of the episode talk about have good NPCs and whatnot. But for all the memories I have playing and running campaigns and all that, my favorite is running Pathfinder Kingmaker with him and his buddies. And they had good NPCs that were well described. Could have been a little bit better, but they were enough that I could flesh them out from there. And then they had a big sandbox of locations and whatnot. So if I, was a new DM and whatnot, I would try to start small, good PCs, have some places that they could go to, and then as I get an indication which direction they're going, flesh out those a little bit more detailed. Not feel like they got to have the entire sandbox, fully described and whatnot before the first session and whatnot. But just keep working 1 or 2 sessions ahead of the players and whatnot to have all that confidence. And then every once in a while, they're still going to go, you know what? I know we're headed here, but we're going to go that way. And that's when you have to start leaning on your improv skills. And then Kyle is, hey, give me 15 minutes. I've said, hey, buy yourself some time if you're close to the end of the session, but tossing a random encounter at them.
Yeah.
Another thing that's really kind of sneaky but works really well. Okay, I thought they were heading to go confront the ogre at the edge of town, but they decided to go shopping. Well,
Ogre's there.
the ogre's there. I mean, you can do that. That is a thing.
Yeah.
Just because you wrote it one way doesn't mean it has to play out that way.
Oh, I love the teleporting encounter.
Yeah.
I have a couple guys who are real big on, when they run their games, they have very, very structured stuff, and I have huge respect for that. But I honestly, like you were saying, Kyle, sometimes a little randomness is fun. You're shopping, you're in the store, so are they.
Yeah.
Roll initiative.
I liken it to, hey, we've got this story idea, but we don't know how it's going to play out until the players show up, add their 2 cents, and then all the randomness.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it fun as a DM, although it does make it a little more nerve-wracking at times and whatnot. On the one hand, you feel responsible. On the other hand, you're actually seeing the story unfold as well.
Yeah.
Writers talk about they get these characters in their mind and they start writing the book and they say things like, I can't wait to see how it comes out. Well, they've got good characters in their mind, and in the process of writing, the story is fleshing itself out because they're building those characters out more. So.
Yeah.
Nope, I completely forgot. I had
No
something
worries.
I wanted to say. Oh, right, there. That's what it was.
You're too young to be able to claim brain farts. You're on my turf, buddy.
His culture is not a costume, Kyle.
Respect my gray hairs. Those that are still left.
All right, Kyle, what you got?
Especially at the beginning of a campaign where you're trying to figure out how to start, and sometimes in the middle where you're not really sure what your next plot point should be to get to your projected ending or maybe preferred ending, whatever. Wherever you want the story to end or expect the story to end, you get to experiment sometimes. For example, I had players hopping dimensions. And instead of having them go to the Marvel dimension and the Marvel universe and the DC universe.
Yeah, I know. My eyes are. I'm not rolling. I'm not rolling my eyes.
The Marvel Universe D&D crossover would be.
Yeah.
Hey, there is a Marvel role-playing game.
Yeah, fair.
And instead of having them go to like all of these places that are already defined, I started making stuff up because I wanted to try my hand at making strange worlds. I'm not to say I didn't have them cross over with some other universes. They did end up in the Star Trek Defiant at one point.
Wow.
You're not going to get a reaction. I mean, I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, I didn't think you would.
I'm leaving that to you all over
I'm
there.
just wow. I knew about it, but still wow. But I got to admit, somebody did put me in the as a player, put me and my party into the Smurf universe. So
No.
I know.
I have even actually.
No.
I have no reaction to that because I'm scared. I don't know where that leads.
Did you fight Gargamel?
I did. It was pretty.
CR35, surely.
That's more than aspect of
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Oh my god.
I now have stuff to look up. CR35.
Challenge rating.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah.
My bad.
No, you're good.
Aspect of Bahamut is only 30. I think that's the size.
What was the cat's name? The cat was actually more problem.
Oh, I actually don't remember the cat's name in this
Yeah.
one.
The only name I know of in that universe is Gargamel.
Pantheon. It's
Okay.
a pantheon.
Pantheon. The
They're not
Smurfs.
God.
Papa
Pantheon.
Smurf might be a Titan. You don't know.
Yeah. Papa Smurf, Gargamel, and
Smurfette.
Smurfette. Yep.
Boom. Got it.
Those are the only three that I know.
Oh my gosh.
All right, fellas.
And
I'm gonna before we go on it. I'm gonna nip the Smurf thing in the bud. I don't know what you were about to go with that.
Yeah. So back to what,
No.
what I was saying before.
Yeah, what were you smurfing about?
Smurfing about. What could that possibly mean?
Anyway,
Oh, shush your Smurf.
No.
Yeah, I know. This is weak.
so cringe.
Yeah, they don't all land.
Kyle, what you got?
So instead of drawing from all of these already existing stories,
Yeah.
I just started making up what would be an interesting place for them to go.
Sure.
How about a society of dwarf, a world where there's only dwarfs, they all live underground, and they worship a statue of Mimir from Norse mythology? Or a world that is 90% ocean, and
Water
the
world.
land that does exist forms back up into floating spires, makes a entire rotational trip around the globe, and then falls back onto one landmass. So there's never any like growth on the continent because it's always moving.
Well, that sounds a lot better than them showing up on the Defiant.
They definitely enjoyed it more.
Yeah, I kind of like that notion of trying your hand at, almost like fully realized creativity and creative license. And something I wanted to pay specific homage to is on one of our uploads, our first episode, we actually got a comment. And the comment was a bit of a discussion as well as a question. But I wanted to highlight a distinction that the commenter left. And it was tying this question together of essentially when we're making these games, epics, what have you, are we really wondering what the story is about or wondering what the game is about? And I think we hit on that in the first episode, and that I feel like that resonated to some extent. And I think it's just as true here, right? True, it matters what the story's about.
Right.
It matters what your NPCs want. It matters what your end goal is. But really, the game is about a group of people sitting around the table and having fun.
Yeah.
People becoming friends,
Right.
some lifelong friendships, some, slightly adversarial relationships, but it tells a good story. And so when you say things, Kyle, like using all this creative license and all of these things, I want to frame it for the younger or maybe even just less experienced DMs. The point is not to do all of those things just for the sake of a very compelling story. Mm-hmm. It's for the sake of a very compelling game.
Yeah.
If you can keep the players at the table having fun, laughing, joking, showing up next week excited, you've succeeded.
If you have fun too.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Okay. I always want to add that in.
Yeah.
I mean, the DM is not there to serve the players. The DM is there to have fun with the players. So,
What's your
Absolutely.
favorite quote? The DM is a player too.
yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So